Welcome to the Under the Hat podcast,
the show where we talk about everything and anything that is top of mind in education.
The goal is to provide meaningful conversations to what is currently happening in our classrooms.
Stories, pains,
moments of success.
We want to hear it all.
Friends,
hello everybody.
Happy Saturday. We are super excited to be here. We are starting a little late, but as a very, very, very intelligent wizard once said, it's on time when I show up. Not when the clock says, right?
I got a softer version of that. It's Saturday, bro.
there is that too.
It's worth the wait.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. And so this is really like anticipated conversation, and you know, I'm excited to dive into things. We have the phenomenal, amazing Jon Corippo here in the room, in the building. I am excited to learn from him. I know Sophie's very excited. Sophie, you have something like on your desk? Is it?
I do.
Like you actually showed up prepared today?
I did. There we go. Today.
Eduprotocol book. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm signing it for you.
If only.
Nice. So Jon, just I did a lot of my Eduprotocols on Kindle, which in hindsight I kind of regret because there's
you don't get the cartoons, man.
I don't get the cartoons, and this was before I had the Kindle Scribe, right? So like the old school, not the old school, but like the smaller one, you can't annotate or like write on it. That's something that I like to do, and especially with your books, like there's so much like there's some wisdom there that I want to document. So it was a lot of like writing notes on the side. But
and in the book,
I got to give
actually
credit to
have
Marlena
space.
on that one. When we were doing the book, Marlena's like, we got to put some space for notes, and I was like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? She's like, look, people are going to take notes in there. So yay for her on that.
I definitely took use of that space, even when it wasn't dedicated space. I would write like underneath your little Jon cartoons.
That was Marlena too. She's like, I have this idea that'll make the book more personal, and I was like, it sounds weird, but okay. And now
I love it.
People love them. It's crazy.
Yeah. So Jon, like I'm having a hard time keeping up with you, man, because like I feel like, man, that guy's always traveling. He's always like doing this, that, or the other. In terms of the amount of books, though, how many books are there total now?
7.
Okay. Wow.
So
because we've got
book 1, book 2, math,
social studies,
deploying, ELA, the companion guide, which is a big Canva deal. And then we've got SEL version under development because we're tired of hearing teachers say, the district's making me do this SEL lesson. We're going to show them how the SEL is part of what we do. Yeah. You guys are laughing because it's real, right?
Yes.
You can imagine this. The teacher comes in, well, I had a good day planned, but we have to do this SEL lesson. Well, what if you don't have to experience that part? And the co-authors of that one of them is a California State Teacher of the Year, and the other one is a fully licensed child psychologist. So we're going
perfect
right to the source. And the key of that, the key push on that book is going to be Smart Start, the why, the how, the brain science, and then also something that is not very well documented, which is called Fantastic Finish. And in Fantastic Finish, what happens is if you guys have kids of your own, or if you've ever taught like 5th grade, there's a lot of angst at the end of the year about what? 5th grade. If you're an 8th grader, you're freaked out about 9th grade, right? Whatever. So Fantastic Finish is basically just a smart start, but at the end of the year with next year's teachers. So visualize this. Let's say I'm a 7th grade Jon, and I'm going to make Mr. Martinez the scary math teacher. He's got a beard. He's old. People don't know what's up with him. Miss Young's, like, I heard she's really cold and she doesn't like creativity and she's mean. But these are things kids hear, right? So let's say that I show up in Steve's room and he's like, bro, let's do some Gimkit boss battle, A or 0, beat me on times table. Or, and then I'm like, oh, he's funny. I want to grow a beard. That's cool. And then I show up in Sophie's class and we're like, let's do some random emoji, bro. Blow my mind. Now what we're doing is we're not releasing. We are basically taking away that irrational concern about next year. Because again, if you've had your own, the first week of school, they're terrified. But by the fourth week, they're telling all the teachers jokes. Well, what if we made that a formal process where third graders went to fourth grade went to fifth grade for the last 3 or 4 days of school? So you really get a chance to vibe with the kids. But here's the great part for the teachers. What I'm actually doing is all my beginning of the year assessments before they go home. So I'm excited about that. And then Ariana Hernandez and Christina Miramontes are working on the science/STEAM edition. And then we've got probably 10 proposals behind them on like other things people want to do. I joke about it with our authors, like we've turned into the For Dummies series of education. Like, it's like,
Oh, it really is though.
But
like
it is.
Anybody can pick it up. Yeah.
So, and then now we're getting people who are like, oh, I started with the ELA book because I teach ELA, but now I'm reading book 1, and oh my gosh, so it's really fun. It's really cool.
And that's the thing I've noticed, John, is like with the work I'm doing at the university level, like observing student teachers, interns, some of them like intuitively, and this is how intuitive the work, like your work is sometimes I tell them, it's like, hey, you're doing this thing called Eduprotocols and you don't even know it. But you can learn how to go deeper and wider with it by picking up this book. And so for a lot of people, it's not like at a certain level, it's not rocket science. You know what I mean?
No,
but when you
nothing
add
we're
the
doing
purpose,
is simple. I mean, it's difficult. Is In-N-Out Burger difficult? And for Sophie, is a good crab cake that impossible? No, you can do these. It's a few simple ingredients with the right timing, and that's exactly how protocols work, right? The thing I've been really kind of sharing with people lately is, I think there's a group of teachers who think that, like let's say they've wanted to be a teacher since they were 10 or 12. I'm not looking at you at all right now, Sophie. And they used to put all their stuffed animals on the bed, and then they would do class. And the problem with that mindset is you're talking about 30 humans. They're not automatons who are sitting there ready for you to tell them how this is going to work. That is not how it works. There are 30 people. And so my 2 big keywords, and I think you really get this, Steve, from our interactions. There's 2 things teachers are not that good at. Number 1 is read the room, bro. Read the room. They don't do it because in their head, they've spent all summer planning. This is going to take 2 periods. This is going to take 7 periods. Anything that knocks a train off the track, you're the problem. I'm mad at you. That is not going to work. Okay.
And scripted.
Scripted. Second thing is energy matching. You got 30 people walking into the room that either just got to school off the bus or just got out of PE or just finished eating lunch. And you're going to try to pound that into submission. It's a bad idea, you guys. It's a bad idea. Here's a little fun fact. Have you guys ever been to a live taping of a show in Hollywood ever?
No.
Well, they cheat.
Cheat. Though, like I am going to be, John, for my birthday in a week or 2, I am going on The Price is Right.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a preview, bro. Your hands will be tired from all of the pre-show clapping before the show even starts. They crank up the music. They have a comedian, and they literally go like this. The applause sign is on. Let's go. Let's go louder. Stop. Commercial. Okay, let's go. Lights on. Let's go. They practice clapping because they want the show to have good energy. They don't just put 200 people in the room and say, I hope they like it. Or you have to clap. Everybody knows to clap. So these are some of the things that in my kind of travels over the last 3 years that I've really noticed is kids walk in, they're happy, they're vibing, and the teacher's like,
Oh yeah, there's like this saying, "Don't smile until Thanksgiving." I'm like, what?
It's actually till Christmas. And
Yuck.
it's like, dude, that's going to get you a lot of parent meetings with modern human children. And you're not going to like it.
Yeah. So John, but before we really get like into the weeds of like Eduprotocols, the work that you're doing,
pretty far in the weeds right now, bro.
I know, like we came into this episode like sideways. You're like, oh, we're so excited. Let's talk Eduprotocols and everything else. For like, so I'm interested because John, I've heard this story before, but like anyone that maybe is listening or needs a reminder, because it's such an amazing story of your journey from going to, and I'll quote, disgruntled student
Yeah.
to where you are now. And maybe
school was not my jam.
Yeah, and I got a little bit of like info like at Fall Q. If you can somehow squeeze in your football days at Fresno State, that'd be cool too. But just like your journey from disgruntled student to where you are today and the work that you're doing.
Yeah. So it's funny. I wasn't a kid who said I hated school. I was just bored by it. I was underwhelmed. I liked the idea of school. So you're looking at a guy who read every World War II book in all 5 libraries in our town because I was an information maniac before the internet. So did the internet break me, or is this the way human brains work? Very weird. So I liked school as an idea. I did not like it in execution. I was pretty much permanent 2.9 GPA because that's what kept me eligible for football. And really only went to college because I thought maybe I could play a little more football. I'm a whopping 5'6", 160 freshman in college, playing defensive line. Long story short, I ended up at Fresno State and ended up playing my junior and senior year. But the really interesting part of the story is, Steve, I got a graduate assistant scholarship for coaching. I never got a dime for playing. And what I learned a lot about is the ancient Chinese general Sun Tzu, because our head coach was a super big strategy guy. I learned about spaced repetitions. I learned about cognitive dissonance, which is a phrase a lot of teachers don't know, which my coach explained it as you've got to hear the screech in the orchestra and you've got to adjust. And probably the best one he ever taught me as part of a group, not as an individual, was he would go to the faculty meetings at Fresno State because the head football coach is faculty, and they hated it because they were all wearing their tweed jackets with their patches and drinking their Manhattans and smoking a pipe and popping off about how few kids got A's in their classes, which proved how rigorous it was. Yeah. And then he is sitting there with his Pabst Blue Ribbon and his Bulldog sweater. And he says, if I've got 6 guys on the team with an A, I'm going to get fired.
Wow.
That'll hit you in the face. So
yeah,
mediocrity, by virtue of denying kids the skills, apparently is not that good of a plan. So if anybody doubts my story, you can go to a thing called YouTube and look up smallest Division I nose guard ever, and you'll see all my highlight reels. And Steve, it sounds like you might be a sports guy. I was in South Bend one time, and I go, hey, isn't this Rudy's town? And they're like, yeah. And I go, I'm not a big Rudy fan. And the crowd response was visceral.
Yeah.
And I said, well, let me tell you why. Because just like Rudy, I too was a substandard size football player. And when I tell people I played at Fresno State, they're like, oh, just like Rudy. And I'm like, no, Rudy had one freaking play. I lettered. I was a real player. Do not compare me to that guy. So there's a little of that going on. But I don't want to stay there too long. Then my wife tricked me into teaching because she's a teacher and she wanted to have similar vacations. And so my first day, you'll love this, Sophie, my first day of teaching is April 1st. So I have April Fools on my teacher certificate, which meant then April Fools is on my admin credential. And I love it. Like April Fools, like I'm coming at you, bro. Who knows what's coming next?
Just kidding.
JK. So one year I put back in the old days on Macs, you could set up the screensavers. So when the screensaver started up in the lab, every screen was a broken JPEG. And the kids thought the screens were broken and they were losing their minds. And I was like, yeah, try move with the mouse.
Oh, that's
so that
hilarious.
was pretty funny. That was a good times. Yeah. So I went and taught and did some stuff for a few years. And then I noticed that I wasn't having as much fun as I wanted to. I wasn't the teacher I wanted to be. And I kept doing teacher stuff. Like I was benching kids and I was making them line up alphabetically to turn in their homework. And if they didn't have their homework, dig this, they had to call their mom and turn themselves in because I don't got time for that. Mm. Yeah, one day I got tired of being that teacher. And so I started taking my D1 football experience and my advertising degree and saying, maybe we could do this better. Maybe I need to quit impersonating what I think a teacher is. Maybe I need to start inventing a whole new category. Okay, and so if this is coffee, it's Starbucks, which is too bad because they've wrecked themselves now. But there was a time. If it's food, it's Texas brisket going from a cheap thing to barbecue to a life-changing religion for some people. I can just go down the line with this. We need to reimagine what is the essence of teaching. And you know what the essence of teaching is? It's not a quiet classroom.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yeah. The essence of teaching is making each of my little freak shows their best freak show of whatever that is. And I say that with love. But you've got to quit seeing them as, these golden-haired childs that are going to be great at English and math, because that's not realistic. Not everybody's great at English and math. And if you show me somebody who's great at English and math, the people who are just good at English will destroy them, and the people who are just good at math will destroy them. But what does college want? Both skills. Insanity. That'd be like saying, I want you to be a great NASCAR race driver, but also a pianist. It doesn't make sense. They're two totally different skill sets. Although, race car drivers could play piano. I'm not saying they can't, but it's just it's an illogical comparison. And if you think anybody that's listening thinks I'm wrong, imagine high school math teachers' faces when I tell them we're going to spend the next 6 months studying the origins of haiku. How do you think they're going to go with that? It's not going to be.
Well, you always hear
math teachers would be like, no.
Why are you doing this? They would go straight to revolt.
Yeah.
But that's because their brains are different. It's not, I'm not judging anybody. They have different preferences. Why can't we go there?
And so, because you always hear that all the time of like, people are like, oh, in college, I barely got through my math classes. That was low to me. Or someone else that was just like, you know what? I was never a really good writer and I'm still not, but I did what I had to do to get through. Right.
And if somebody thinks, oh, this is just John being John, read the book, The End of Average. And if you're too lazy to read it because you're a math person, listen to the audiobook while you're driving.
Nail on the head. I'm an audiobook girl.
Sophie just got triggered. She was like, oh.
It's more because I'm ADHD and I can't sit and listen and read.
But this is the thing. Though. That book gave me the data behind what I had suspected. That's the trick. For example, when I was an assistant superintendent at the county level, Steve, you'll love this visual here. I'm in the same room with LA County, San Diego County, and I'm representing my county, which that alone has got to be hilarious, right? Like, first of all, I'm the first guy with no tie. And I was in the room when they rolled out Common Core math. And the person that was selling the state Common Core math said, we know that 60% of kids will fail the first year. And I was like, whoa. We aren't even given the test for 3 years, and you already know 60% will fail. What the F are we doing here? Imagine this. Hey, I'm going to start a football team. I guarantee you we're not going to win any games for the first 10 years. Good luck with ticket sales. And Steve, none of the other counties even raised their hand. I'm sitting at the table doing a Sophie impersonation. I'm like, did they just say that? They just said, we know. Only 30% of kids will pass. We know that. And then we're going to give that test to children and then tell them the state of California thinks you're dumb at math. Did you just say that? And they did. They did say that.
And we're talking
I just
like
stunned Sophie into
leadership.
silence. She has no comeback. Nothing.
What?
Yeah, this is California Department of Education. So here's where the end of average comes in. So it's a really long story. I'm going to condense it, but you guys need to listen to the book for yourself. What if I told you that the criterion and normative reference data, which, Steve, you'll like this. Have you ever heard of mathematical psychology? It is like the stats of psychology and brain science. And so it turns out that in the book that everybody uses for criterion reference testing says in the foreword, it says, the only way to test for intelligence is to give an individual multiple attempts at the test and track those. But since it's unreasonable and costly, we will test millions of people at once and use that data to determine their relative intelligence or skill level. The whole thing is, to quote Will Ferrell in the fine film Elf, is a throne of lies. And that's the kind of stuff Ed Advantage will give you. Now, I read that book thanks to Bill Selleck about, probably 7 years ago. It has totally changed my perspective on what's going on because I had always intuited those things. But the book breaks it down. And here's my favorite part. The book is written by a guy named Todd Rose. He failed out of college twice, but now he's a Harvard-level researcher. Huh. So it's fascinating. We could do like a whole series just on that book. By the way, also, according to state testing, I'm only 84th percentile on reading comprehension, but it sounds like I got it. It sounds like I got that book. So thank you, state testing, for validating my 84th percentile skill set.
It's that you're an author.
Yeah,
but only 84th percentile. But here's what state testing can't measure. I didn't want to read their stupid story. If they'd have given me a story I liked, I wouldn't have mailed it in.
And also, you probably were under like the timed test. So then, like, you were under the pressure of doing it within a certain window.
So let me take you full circle. Energy matching, read the room. Yeah. I did not want to read about the guy and his burro that were lost in the desert. Not interesting to me. Although I do like burros. Burros are interesting. But the story was paltry.
Yeah. And so let's kind of, John, if you don't mind, let's dive into this.
Go anywhere you want, bro.
Multiple attempts, right? I know you love the reps. You love the reps. Yeah. And so Sophie and I are both huge advocates for that, right? You found a way though to do it to where, because here's what I hear from teachers. She's like, I don't have time to give the test over again, or I don't have time.
The skill set. It's not the time, it's the skill set.
Cool.
You don't have the perspective. You don't have the desire.
Yeah.
And you got to stop after you don't, because the next part of it is the part that's wrong.
Love that. Yeah. So with Eduprotocols, like if there's anyone out there, and so John, I'm actually quite surprised. So over on the Cami side, when you and I started, and Stephanie as well, like we started chatting and collaborating and just having fun together. There's a lot of people like at Cami, like, wait, even educators, mind you, like, wait, what's an Eduprotocol? I'm like, wait, how do you not know what Eduprotocol? I just thought, so being out here, maybe it's because I'm in your area, John. Like,
that's part of it. But there's people that actually go to Applebee's and think it's good, dude. That's not just a teaching thing. There's people that fly across the country and eat at Olive Garden. Dude, that's humanity. That is humanity.
Yeah,
it's just the way people work.
So for anyone listening, right, and they're like, okay, what is an Eduprotocol? If you can just put it simply, like what is it?
The easiest description ever. What grade level, Sophie, can you use a Venn diagram in? What grade level?
Any, all.
What subject, Steve?
Any.
How many times do you do this?
As many times
every day.
Every day.
And if I did it every day, what would my kids be like at it if I did it every day? You know what's weird, Steve? This is normal in band. Every band teacher knows we're going to play that song 47,000 times this week.
And Steve's
Every
got that music
cheerleading coach
background.
says again, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the hallowed halls of education. We only have time to do it once.
Yeah.
And then
so
we're
like,
surprised when they don't retain it.
Oh,
right.
goodness. Yes.
Right.
Once you see the red car, you can't stop seeing the red car.
Yeah. And
so I'll give you guys the origin story here real quick of Fast and Furious. That's the ones that Steve's really alluding to, which ironically is only like 2 paragraphs in book 1, maybe 3 paragraphs. I could write a 300-page book about what I've learned about this. So Sophie, imagine this: Latin Roots Latin Roots semester final. 55 questions. How do we normally do this? We tell kids, practice at home. Practice at home. Steve ain't practicing at home. Steve's having fun. And then they come in, they take the test, and what's my bell curve looks like? It's a perfect bell curve. I've got 4 kids with A's, 7 kids with B's, 12 with C's, 7 with D's, 3 with F's, right? By the way, the end of average is all about the history of the bell curve. It's fascinating. So I said to myself, I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to put my football coach hat on. What if my whole team could pass? So they came in on Monday, and I gave them the test. And they're like, bro, it's Monday. And I go, bro, we've been doing these all semester, so you should be good. So let's say there's 55 questions. I taught them how to self-correct back in the day. This is no Scantron even. I don't even have a Scantron. We self-correct the tests. And then I focus on, here's the first shift. I don't focus on how many we got wrong or how many we got right. I focus on how many more to get an A. Well, it turns out that most of the class got 34 out of 55, but it's Monday. So I tell them, bro, if you can all get 16 more right by Friday, you'll have a perfect score. Go away. So they come back the next day. Test is on the desk again. They're like, we did this yesterday. I go, yeah, and y'all got a D. Let's try it again. But let's focus on the 16 words that we decided were the most common yesterday. Guess what happens, Steve? Score goes up. Well, now all of a sudden this is looking achievable because we needed to get from a 36 to a 40. That's only 4 more right. Guess what we did Wednesday, Steve? Same thing. Thursday, same thing. Friday, the lowest score in the whole class is an 85. That's counting resource, everybody. And I'm like, oh, shoot, this could be a thing. The problem is I burned a whole box of paper doing it. So I zoom forward a couple more years, and this thing called Socrative has come out where you can make tests, right? So I made a little 9-question quiz on Latin roots. I got about 30 teachers for 2 days to myself. On the end of the second day, you know what PD's like at 2 o'clock on the second day. Everybody's gassed. So I go, hey guys, I want to do an experiment on you on Latin roots. And they're like, oh, we're language arts teachers. We love Latin roots. I go, here you go. I give them the language arts the roots quiz. 9 questions. These people have diplomas, college diploma, right? The bachelor's degree, and they've been teaching language arts for years. Average score 3 out of 9. You know why? These Latin roots were the Michigan State Latin roots, not the ones the publishers give you. So I'll give you guys an example if you want to feel like them. What's the definition of TOR? Ding. What's the definition of AUG? Yeah, that's what
How are
they
we
were
supposed
doing.
to know that, John?
Yeah, exactly.
Immediately, my brain went to the periodic table, and I was like,
here's the first place where I'm messing with their brains. When I say Latin roots, they think they're experts. Not in my game. I got a different game, bro. Okay, so tor means to turn, as in torso or torsion. Og, most of them picked og to be like more of like augment, but classically og is like an auger also, to turn, an auger. So I give them the test. They get like 27% right. I go, okay, let's go over the ones you guys missed. How do you feel about taking the test again? And they go, we're going to take it again. So I throw them in there. We take it again. Now we're at 87%. I go, you guys are still getting rocked by these 2. We coach them on the 2. We play again, 98%. I go, let's reflect. And they're saying things like this. Hey, you didn't do very much direct instruction, but our scores got really good. Oh, yeah, that's true. Hey, let's see. We wanted to play again, which we never thought our kids would want to play again. And I go, why did you want to play again? We want to get a better score. I go, yeah, but I think you guys are missing the point here. Elapsed time was 12 minutes. Total time, 12 minutes. So that's where the fast and the curious roots come from, because it's quick turnaround. And it's cold turkey, which apparently that's a 70s phrase. When people quit smoking, they would quit cold turkey. So when I say it, people look at me like, what are you talking about? But it's cold. It's like no reference. Go, right? And so now what I do is I'll give you'll love this. I gave 900 people a quiz on Turkish foods. And why did I pick Turkish? I wanted them to be disoriented just like a kid would be in the first day of my chemistry class. I wanted to make them feel disoriented. Well, guess what happened? They got 62% right on the first try. Why? Because in GimKit, you get it wrong, you see the answer. You get it wrong, you see the answer. You get it wrong, you see the answer. You get it right, you get it right, you get it right again, you go faster, right? So I go, you guys, I did no teaching, and we got a 61%. Now, let's go over the top 3 missed out of the 9, because in the old days I would go over all 9, because like Sophie needs all 9 because she's a resource student, so I got to give her everything. Steve's over here on his phone screwing around because he only missed 2. He's bored, she's overwhelmed. So I go, no, I got a computer to disaggregate the data. I'm only going to go over the 3 most missed, because with that tempo, I don't overwhelm Sophie and I don't bore Steve. Here's the 3. Boom, boom, boom. And by the way, the top 3 always has ice cream in it. And I'm like, bro, how can you get ice cream wrong? It's ice cream. So we jump back in the game, 97%. The whole room is like. So I go, you guys, am I the best teacher on the planet? Or is that just a good technique? Sadly for me, it's just a good technique because it's reproducible. I'm not that cool. I just have a cool trick that you can also use. So imagine applying that to times tables, geometric shapes, 13 colonies. And so it's fast and curious because quick turn, and curious because I'm not teaching you at the beginning. Steve, when you buy the new episode of Call of Duty, do you watch a tutorial or do you crank it up? You crank it up. You get destroyed. Now you want to watch your tutorial. That's how it works, dude. That's how the human brain works. No, I can change this tire.
Yep.
So John, I was when I was at Fall Q a few weeks ago, I had a couple of aha moments. Just being out of the classroom for a couple of years now, and kind of Cammie was not exhibiting, right? So I got to do a thing that I haven't done in a while, is just go and watch sessions. And
just watch for style points.
Yeah. I saw 2 things that were like, whoa, big takeaways. One is half of the tools I saw didn't exist when I was teaching not even 3 years ago. That was one. The second one, I swear, almost every session was like, oh, there's an Eduprotocol. Ooh, there's an Eduprotocol. There's an So Eduprotocols are it's growing right now.
Well, from a marketing point of view, we used to be guerrilla warfare, right? There were 9 of us on the whole planet, and then there were 13, and we knew the whole 13. And we can branch off onto this if you want, but curriculum departments hate us everywhere because we don't use their freaking program because their program's not getting results. But they love their program because they told the school board that we spent $2 million on it, so it's going to work this time. And I need to buy it again in 2 years, so I got to have a good reputation with the school board. Anyways, I think we're in a long transition right now from grassroots rebellion level. We're starting to transition over into we're transitioning from guerrilla to grassroots, right? So like I can go pretty much anywhere in the US now and somebody will be like, oh, I love protocols. Are you the protocol guy? So once you've got 5 or 10 people like that at each school,
yeah,
it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
And that's I'm always sad for the Venn diagram guy because he never had social media. He had to spread that idea by himself the old-fashioned way. Did you know there's a Venn diagram birthday every year, by the way?
What's the date?
I don't know, but there is one. I'm gonna look it up right here. I have the internet.
Yeah. I was like, I need
that's
to
what
write
I'm
that
like. We have Gemini, so yeah.
Well, it's like the fun math person's version of Pi Day.
I love Pi Day.
See, I can draw them out.
Pi Day is one of my favorite days. I have
John Venn's 180th birthday. There it is, right there. The dude is 180 years old, and there's actually a Google Doodle to him. And every year you'll see it in your social media. I'm going to put it in the chat just for the fun of it. There you go. Yeah, Google had an actual Google for DoodleCon. Yeah, August 3rd. Yeah. Looks like it's August 3rd.
That's great.
But that's what our goal is to actually rewire when principals say engagement and teachers say engagement, rewire what that is. Because right now, if I say food, you don't think Applebee's, I hope, for God's sakes, right? You've got to say, hey, I want good food. And then you're like, oh, let's go to Dust Bowl. I know where that is.
Me too.
When you say I want food, there's an equanimity between what the expectation is. Because the last time I went to Applebee's, they couldn't even make nachos, and that is a low frickin' bar.
Yeah, it's thrown.
Sophie's giving me Applebee vibes right now.
I haven't been to Applebee's in a really, really long time, but I did go back.
Go. Yeah, you need to go. And you
after
need to try
being like in high school, I just haven't gone.
Go back, try it.
And then I went back a couple months ago, and it wasn't that bad. I was like, oh, this is actually way better than what I was expecting. So maybe they were just having a good day. But I also didn't order nachos.
Oh, yeah.
I just think California has different standards. Maybe that's what it is, Sophie. Like there's California standards, and I'm just kidding.
See, West Virginia has a different standard too. Let's just say. We're going to do pepperoni rolls and sausage biscuits and gravy.
Well, I'm going to read you the Applebee's menu items even the staff won't eat. Staff cautions against stir-fried Applebee's dishes. Staff says the rib platter is not appetizing until you put the sauce on it. Avoid anything on a low-calorie menu. We're running out of menu. Quesadilla burger, not a favorite. Mashed potatoes. No, they're saying no. It turns out that there's not much potatoes in there. Applebee's steak, not recommended. I found a blog post a while ago that said Applebee's home of the best microwavers in the world. But I'll get a little more technical with it. Here's the analogy. If you work at an Applebee's, Olive Garden, Red Robin, and the truck with the pre-made food doesn't show up, what happens? We close.
You close.
We close. Because we don't even know where the farmer's market is, much less the butcher shop. We don't even know where they are. So we are just reheating other people's ideas of food. Now, let's get into the educational space. Imagine that I'm in charge of the world for a couple hours, and I say, no more workbooks next year.
Yeah.
But that's not the norm, right? That's not the norm. The norm is you can't take my Red Lobster away. This food is delicious. And let's just be honest, you guys. Let's be really honest. I dare anybody that's listening, and maybe they're just listening right now because to them I'm a car crash and they can't stop looking at the car crash. All right, here's my challenge to you. Take out a Post-it note. Check workbooks. I want you to go to random teachers' classrooms in May, and I want you to go through the desks, and I want you to tell me how we're doing on completing the workbooks, because we are not. Most workbooks that I've seen have about 20 to 25 projects or activities done. The other 110 are blessedly blank. But yet, if you take the workbooks away, they lose their mind. You guys, that's a false dichotomy right there. Like, I don't even know if I'm using that correctly. It's messed up. How about that? It's messed up. And when you say no workbooks, they lose their mind. And yet, when they have workbooks, now they're buying stuff off TPT.
It's a security blanket.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's a security blanket. They've always been there.
It's all about what you're comfy with. It is not about what's effective. And I'm not going to, I don't blame teachers for this state, because what do we get every year? Mandatory training. Use it with fidelity. And there's a group of people whose skill set is such that they're like, hey, dude, I just want to keep my job and get through the year. And I'm not against that, except I would suggest that you're working with human children, and it's a higher calling than simply getting through the year. And so they do this kind of joyless work. And they require workbooks, but then they spend their own money to buy TPTs, and they have stacks of things. I've got a Facebook post from a kid who gave their teacher a 3-month anniversary cake because it had been 3 months since their essay was graded or turned in and ungraded. Yeah. And Sophie, 138,000 likes on that picture. So what's that telling us?
It is very common. That is, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It is so common. I remember my high school math teacher. I'm a math teacher. My high school math teacher made us do portfolios, binders of all of our work that we had to keep from every single homework that we did. And she gave us homework and every single activity we did. And then we would turn them in. And then she would grade them, and we wouldn't get them back for so long. And we would get extra points because it was neat handwriting, and people would spend time actually redoing their work because their handwriting wasn't neat enough. And I was like, I'm not redoing my work.
The what do you call it? The English version of this is writing the essay 4 times, right? What are we doing? What are we doing?
I stupidly tried to replicate this in my classroom. It lasted for not even a whole year. Couldn't do it. Couldn't finish it.
No, it's insanity.
It's not realistic.
So we're moving towards the end of an hour here. So I want to start talking about what's that look like if anybody's still listening to me. Here's a real life example of how we do that differently. In math, from a math perspective, you guys tell me, I got 2 sassy individuals who will speak truth to power right here. Tell me I'm wrong. As a culture of math teaching, we will do this at various points. The next 4 weeks are division. The next 3 weeks are fractions. And that's all we do. We hand out 20 fractions. We bemoan the fact that they didn't do their homework, and then we hand out 20 more fractions. I'm oversimplifying, but we do the same thing for 3 or 4 weeks.
Stick to the outline.
In California, there are around 220 standards in most math classes from 6th grade up. So if we're only doing 1 standard for 4 weeks, that's 10 standards a year. Okay. Now, to be fair, here's the English version. First quarter, let's write narrative. Second quarter, let's write argumentative. Third quarter, here comes info lit. Fourth quarter, poetry, because who cares? It's fourth quarter.
Yep.
Well, the problem is there's 5 genres, but we're only actively teaching 4 and only 3 before the test. And narrative hasn't been written in 5.5 months since September, right?
Well, and narrative is only assessed in the lower grades, so you don't do that one.
Yeah, well, that falls into this whole other category we could do a whole separate show on, which is power standards. And many people that are making a lot of money are teaching people to do power standards because it feels good to say. It feels like it is wrong. It is wrong. And that's why you see 6th graders asking you, what's a flying comma? And I go, flying comma? Yeah, this one. You mean an apostrophe?
Huh. I was like, what is a flying comma? I thought I missed something, but no.
No, that's hand to God. A kid asked me that. Another kid, 5th grader, we're doing 99 math. Where's the 5? My actual answer, bro, your keyboard is a number line. It's next to the 4. It's been there since kindergarten. How do I make a big I? You mean a capital I? Hold the shift button. Where's that? 4th grade. So I'm going to move to how we get ourselves out of this. The language arts version. I'm going to go first with language arts. Remind me to do math next, you guys. So you could do this, Sophie. You could say, we're going to write a paragraph a week. This is the Lucy Calkins model. By the way, listen to Soul the Story. She got fired from Columbia for teaching people to teach this way. We're going to write 1 paragraph a week for 4 weeks, which will be 1 essay every 5 weeks, which is 2 essays a quarter, which sounds really good to me because I like going wine tasting on the weekend, not grading essays. Here's how we do it in protocols. Here's a funny picture. Write a narrative, a persuasive, and an infolet about that one picture. We're going to do all 3 genres at once. By the way, they also have to be first person. By the way, I need a compound sentence and an appositive in each one. Ready, go. So I'm getting kids to write 3 paragraphs in under 30 minutes in 3 genres. Repeat all freaking year long. 3 paragraphs a day, not 1 a week. Now, you guys are going to have to check my math on this. But if you got 180 days and you're doing 3 paragraphs a day, that's like 500 or 600 paragraphs a year. Meanwhile, in the traditional class, we're doing 30 a year. Who's going to do better?
Well, it's directly paralleled to how many books you read to your kids and how many words they're going to hear and see. And yeah,
same idea. They love that on reading. You know why? There's nothing to grade on reading. That's why teachers like to teach reading first, because there's nothing to grade, because in their head, they're doing the math. They're saying, if I give out this many paragraphs, how many hours this weekend? But that's the shift in protocols. I'm going to give the feedback in real time. I'm going to scan them all, and I'm going to go, you guys are horrible at capitalizing and using a variety of ending marks. And then I want you to do better tomorrow. And then we do it tomorrow. And I go, okay. Sophie and Steve, you're sitting with me because you're the last 2 that aren't doing it right, but everybody else is. Keep going. Repeat, 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 repeat. Feedback. Do the thing. Look at the 3 most common errors. Repeat. But we're doing it about TikTok videos and song lyrics and hilarious memes and GIFs, so the kids are into it, right? It's reading the room. It's energy matching. Now, what's this look like in math? Again, typically we're going to give a kid a worksheet. Okay. And everybody that teaches math has a webpage like mathworksheets.com or betterworksheetmath.com. They've all got these things. And what we do is we give the kids 30 or 40 problems, but they don't know how to do 1. So now they're going to cheat, lie, and steal. And then you won't know how bad they are because you're just pushing papers onto the desk. And then you're putting good job, check mark, star. You're not grading each one because we've decided that is too much work. But we're just going to keep doing the same thing for 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks.
And they're going to keep doing it wrong.
And all you're really doing is building a culture of dishonesty and a culture of a whole subculture beneath what the teacher thinks is going on. All these things happen. So one of the ways we do this in Eduprotocols is the good old math rep, which is really easy. Here's a number. Okay. We're going to add it, multiply it, divide it, and subtract it. All right now. We're going to put it on a number line. We're going to turn it into a decimal. We're going to turn it into a fraction. We're going to make a word problem. We're going to do 25 standards with this one number or equation. Okay. The first day, I just give them all the answers and I say, keep that for tomorrow so you can cheat off yourself. The next day, we do the exact same thing, but with a new number. So let's say, Sophie, today's number was 98.3. I might do this if my kids are struggling. 98.4. let's go. Because I wanted to see the patterns and the connectivity. And then what are we doing next day, Steve? 98.5.
I knew it.
And then the next day, 98.6. And then we come in on Monday and I go like this, 100.3. And they're like, there's more numbers. I go, same game, more numbers. We're doing the same thing, more numbers. And now I've got kids doing 10, 15, 20 standards a day. And guess what? Since I did this yesterday, I already know which 4 they're going to screw up. So I only need to coach them on the 4, not the 20. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then I also know, because we did this yesterday and I gave feedback in real time, I know who's going to flail on it. So now I can go and have those people sit together based on their behavior or performance yesterday. So it's immediate regroupings every day. And then if you've got 7th and 8th graders who are still doing 3 times 3 like this, you guys, I'm just telling you, this is not helping anything. We do not conceptualize 3 times 3. It's just 9. It's just 9. You don't. Now, if I want them to conceptualize it, we can do clothesline math. We can do frayers. But when I say 3 times 3, you say 9. That's the end of it. And I'm not making this up, you guys. I had kids doing this in 99 math. The teacher, it's January in 4th grade, and the kids are doing 2s, 3s, and 4s only. That's all they can handle. It is January in 4th grade. They're supposed to know times tables in 3rd grade. And I tell the kids, no more fingers. And without even pausing, they pull out their multiplication chart. Put that away. And within 15 minutes, they went from doing an average of 1.5 a piece in a minute to like 9 or 10 a piece in a minute. It was a massive change. And the teacher didn't realize she was hamstringing her own kids with this and times tables charts. Dude, it's just 3 times.
That's so much gold in there in what you're talking about, John. I kind of like, as you're describing all this and the big shift that I've seen, like seeing Eduprotocols actually happen in classrooms, and you kind of touched on it, but like also the shift of your time management in the classroom. And so like a lot of times, especially at the credentialing level, like we hear, oh,
we don't teach this at all.
Got to give that think time, that wait time.
No,
right? Which
I got to stop you. Think time is horrible. I've switched it to work time. So I'm going to give you guys think time right now, Steve and Sophie. Ready? Here's your think time. Tell me, what was the innovation that the Nelson 007 paintball gun brought to the paintball field? What was the innovation? I'll give you think time.
You said 007. I immediately went to 007 and James Bond. I'm off.
Not related. No, that's just the model number of the gun. Quit bringing up stupid stuff, Sophie. You do this every day. What innovation did that paintball gun bring to the paintball field?
This think
How's the think time feeling?
How's
the think time? How's the think time feeling?
It's stressful. Yeah.
Yes. Where's the good part? Now watch this. Work time. Open a new tab. Type in Nell Spot paintball gun. Tell me 3 things that you see. Work time. Work time, not think time.
Steve's doing it, so I don't have to.
Ooh,
yeah,
that thing's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Do you see what's happening to your brain though right now?
You're learning. You're going to remember this.
You're learning.
I'm also using inquiry, right?
Yes. Yes, on the fly. And I'm going to tell you guys, the big innovation about the Nelson was 2 main things. One is it was pump instead of bolt action, which meant you could get a little piece of PVC on there. And when you're playing paintball, instead of doing this, Steve, like some kind of red coat in the Civil War, you could go boom, that was the number 1 thing. Number 2 thing was it was highly modular and easy to modify. And Steve, you're probably seeing that in the images. So you've got longer stocks, you've got all these different hoppers on. But that, you guys, that's the same thing. Think time and work time.
Okay. I like that.
Ready? Second think time. Tell me everything you know about stratovolcanoes.
It's a volcano.
Yeah. Wow. Way to go, Steve. Way to go. Now, open a new tab. Type in stratovolcano. Tell me 3 things you see. Do you see the difference? in a lot of ways, think time is this weird passive aggressive thing. It's weird because the kids don't have any tools to think about the thing. They're 10. So I have a bias towards action. I want kids building stuff.
Which does provide, John, because I'm pretty sure I've seen you do this. Like it does provide a culture of like the pace, the cadence of a lesson of a class period. Right. It's way different. And
it's way different.
But it's also not rushed. It's also not rushed. And
right.
We took this from the Navy SEALs, and the military guys use this phrase: slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So it's not about being frenetic or hyper or Monster Energy drink. It's about, you guys, new tab, stratovolcano. You got 3 minutes to tell me 3 things you see. Be ready to share. Go. Do you know how long it's going to take me to popsicle stick a class of kids?
Oh.
And then how many kids actually participate? 7 or 8? Because then Sophie's like, Steve took mine, so I'm out.
Yes.
Pass.
And you only end up hearing from the 3 or 4 on the regular.
The over participators that you kind of want them to be quiet. So
and then I love I don't know, I'm just gonna pull one like a sketch and tell, right? Mm-hmm. Where like boom, you got 20 seconds, the 30 seconds, do that share out, and it builds a culture of like, we're hearing from everyone, and there's no judgment on what anyone is saying.
And then there's this positive motion forward of, oh my gosh, Steve, you always draw really cool stuff. And Sophie, your drawings aren't cool, but what you tell us is. So now it's a bunch of people moving forward into like a craft of learning, as opposed to don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me. Oh my God, you picked me. I'm going to squeeze out just enough to keep you off my back. It's totally different vibe. And so I'm not big on work time. I'm sorry for my little outburst there. But it's the same thing on math. I love 360 math. I put kids on wipe books, WIPE, all around the room. And I go like this. Here's the first problem. You think you're hot stuff? Solve it. Oh, looks like somebody needs some tech tips. Where does that decimal go? Uh-oh. All right, second round. Let's do it again. Same exact algorithm, different numbers. So the decimal is going to go in the same place, but we're going to have different numbers. And I go, okay, this is nice. Okay, it looks like 90% of us have of it. Let's come over and see what Steve did. Everybody come over here. Oh, that's cool. Look how he made his decimal an X. Steve, why'd you do that? Oh, it's just some flair I've got. Okay, I like it. All right, let's go look at Sophie's. Where did the wheels fall off? Her math is right. What's wrong with the decimal? Oh, she just dropped it straight down. Steve, what's your magic? You got to count them up, bro. Okay, back to your stations. Next rep. Same thing, different number until they all have it, which is different than work quietly for 20 minutes. Try not to let me see you using ChatGPT or Photomath. Totally different vibe, because in the end, the kids actually have the skills. And if you know about human children, if they have skills, they're going to flex on you.
What I love about all of this the most is that there's also, you're not the only one talking. The kids are talking. The kids are talking to each other. They're learning from each other. You're seeing good examples. You're seeing bad examples. Yes.
That was another epiphany I had, Sophie, which is I used to think, and you guys can tell, like I can talk, like I can do a Robin Williams, George Clooney-esque kind of thing in class. Right? I can get people to listen to stupid stuff. But it turns out that's not actually that beneficial to learning. So I have remade myself as Hugh Jackman in The Greatest Showman. And I just go like this. Math. And then you work. And then I go 3-act math. And then you work. And I'm just working in the background. I never have to say, I need you guys to listen to this. It's really important. Put your phones away. Get off of that sniper game on your Chromebook. I don't have to do that. You know why? Because it's tempo. They know what the outcome is. They know they're going to get praise or feedback, and they start going faster and faster and faster. And here's a little math for you guys. Okay, ready? Math people. 5 minutes a day times 180. What's your number? 5 times 180.
Where's my phone?
900. It's 900 math teachers. 900 minutes. So if you do a bell ringer, that's 5 minutes a day. That is 900 minutes a year. Let's divide that into 60 minutes per hour. That's 15 hours a year. You only have your people for 180. Are you really going to give up 10% of your year to an ungraded bell ringer that you check, pass, fail, throw in the trash? This is what you were starting in on, Steve. We do not understand time. And so we have kids that take 5 minutes to log in. Tell me I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, bro, no, game's on. Game is on. You're getting a 0. Ooh, play with Steve. He's got an extra keyboard, 2 people, 1 computer. Let's go. I'm not waiting for you. My Chromebook's dead. Then you see the teacher, like this is my Kermit the Frog impersonation. Well, where's the loaner? Where's the loaner? Who's got, I know I saw the loaner yesterday. Dude, no, I'm not doing that. The loaner charger is going to be zip tied to 2 different tables as far away from all the humans as possible. And I'm just going to tell them, if your Chromebook's dead, you're a loner, you're going to be playing a loner. So you're not going to sit with your friends. I'm not going to run around the room. Go plug in. Let's go. Because I don't got time to stop the whole train for one dude. And they take turns screwing stuff up. It's an unspoken thing that kids do. It logged me out. No, it didn't. Hit Control-Shift-T. Otherwise, I'm going to come and hit Control-Shift-T 3 times, and I'm going to get into that chat with your girly friend and let her know what I think about your grades. And they're like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
That
Don't
Google Doc
Control-Shift-T on me, bro. That is literally first minute of the year. I write on the board, it did not log you out. You closed the tab. Control-Shift-T. And kids like Sophie, I like your vibe. She'll be like, dude, what? They will call each other out because they are not there for the BS. But you got to empower them.
Yeah.
Most kids are not there for the BS.
True. So John, because we are grossly out of time, and so but
grossly.
There is one more thing I'd love to hear you.
Okay, let's do it.
And that is the feedback I get from teachers when they start implementing Eduprotocols that are getting support from you, like in the Facebook group, what have you. I almost consistently hear, "Wow, as a teacher, my life is now better, easier."
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the joy about
there's
what.
Two
what
main
this
things
brings
going
to the
on
table.
there. You can create, plan, and grade the work within your contract day. So I'm going to be grading all Sunday during my friend's wine tasting or NFL. That's over. Mm-hmm. And we as teachers have allowed that. We have said, I got a big essay to grade this weekend. Like, nobody cares, dude. That's stupid. The second thing is, and this is the bigger one, it's pretty magic. When I go around and ask teachers, why do you do this? Probably 30 or 40% of them say, I love when the light bulb comes on. But what if the light bulb was coming on 20 times a day instead of 3 times a year? It's addictive.
Snap.
Because the light bulb's coming on all the time. I guarantee it, kids like Sophie are like, hey, Corippo, look what I found. This is way better than your stuff. Ooh, I like it. That's a totally different vibe than, we're on chapter 3, Sophie. Get back to page 17, like I said. Dude, who even signs up for that crap? It's a thing.
It is.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I just sort of am sad that I didn't find Eduprotocols a lot sooner. I was already out of the classroom and a coach by the time I was finding Eduprotocols and diving into them and starting to love them.
But it still makes your life so much better as a coach too, right?
Yes.
You can do a 45-minute presentation with 8 slides now. That's a whole other world. And people are laughing and smiling and having a good time. And here's a fun little fact for you guys. I would say probably 70% of our heavy users have over 20 years in the classroom. I did not see that coming. I thought the young teachers would swarm us more But you know what we hear over and over again? People just like you guys going, I did this crap for 20 years and I did not know how ugly it was until I saw what could be. And those 20 and 30-year veterans are the most dedicated protocol people because they're like, dude, I have seen the other side.
They have the scars. They have the scars of like,
well, think about this. If you, any sports ball, whether it's, field hockey, bowling, any kind of sports ball, imagine being a coach, Steve, and you're perennially 1-12. You've been 1-12 for 20 years. Your best year was 3-9. That was your best year. And now you're 10-2. How stoked are you?
So you're
your
just
kids enjoy coming to you.
Yeah, and the kids are coming in, and the parents are telling
John.
Yeah, you're freaking
stoked.
You are stoked.
Yeah.
And so that's the vibe that protocols bring to the classroom is people don't understand. Yeah. They've been grinding for 8, 10, 12 years, and they're not getting results. They've got a certain amount of kids that suck up. They've got a certain amount of kids that have parents that are paying for tutors. They've got a certain amount of kids that are really gifted. And then there's everybody else. And everybody else doesn't be getting better.
Yeah. So, okay.
Wildly frustrating.
One thing that we have to do before we hop off, John, and so this is what we do with every guest. Don't know how much you watched the show in the past, but you may have already touched on this, and I'm sure you can.
Okay, just remember really one thing we don't say in teaching. We don't say I've touched your kids. Do not say that. Don't ever say that.
Oh my goodness.
I will not say that. So, John, something that you may have discussed throughout this episode.
Easy. This is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer.
Feel free to dive in. But what is under the hat? What is top of mind for you right now?
AI. Of course.
AI. And here's my first part of my AI discussion. We're going to screw it up because we screw everything up.
We got to learn from our mistakes.
No. We're, as a profession, we're going to screw it up because what are we doing now in education? Just banning AI, banning it. I literally have, you guys, I have a picture I can send you. You can Google it. Professors at night in Berkeley in 1974 protesting the use of calculators. How'd that go?
They're everywhere. They're in your pocket. They're in your pocket.
How'd that go? So what we do in education is when we don't understand, we ban and we take the worst case scenario. My twist on AI is a little different. And I've got a lot of this from Jacob Carr and Adam Moeller and some really smart people. But like, here's an example of what teachers are afraid of with this AI. They'll use it to write. Guess what? I use Instagram to make my pictures look better, dude. What's the difference? We are in love with writing being a pain in the ass. And so anything that shortens that circle, we lose our minds. And yet, what's social media made up of? Stories, ideas, jokes, summaries. Yeah, that's English. So my take on AI looks like this. I'm not going to let my kids go home and write essays anymore. We're going to do just like I was describing. I'm going to do stuff so fast that they can't use AI. That's the first part. But then the more sophisticated thing that I've seen, shout out to Mike Morrison in Laguna. They were in a history class and they had one kid on they had 3 kids on ChatGPT, and the class was generating questions about their topic. One person was answering in Stephen Hawking's voice using ChatGPT. The other person was answering in Steve Jobs's voice using ChatGPT. And the third person was answering as Bob Ross. And they were comparing how ChatGPT was answering the same question 3 ways. That's awesome.
Oh. That's cool.
See the difference?
Cool.
Now we're talking about shades of difference and nuance and meanings and all those things.
I also really like when you can like chat to a historical figure. Like,
yeah, I love that one. That's in Curipod. It's really good. But there's another one that's even nastier that I like. So imagine this. If I told you math-loving people that we were going to write an essay about George Washington and it was due in 3 weeks, what are you going to do? The night before, you're going to drop it into ChatGPT and you're going to send it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then you're going to turn it into me and I'm going to get pissed because I know what you did. So watch what I think Jacob Carr did this. He had his kids design a very intricate essay and execute it under his tutelage. So it was like this. Tell me important facts about George Washington in an essay. And by the way, these are all real. He was raised in a single parent household. He had smallpox scars all over his face. He was a surveyor and he surveyed all 13 colonies before the war, and he fought for the British before the war. Now I want you to take all of that and compare George Washington to the movie Avatar. Execute. Now, here's the amazing part. Ready for the amazing part? He printed them out for the kids, and they had to give ChatGPT fact-checked and grading on paper only. And that's the kind of crap that teaching as a profession won't come up with as a group. You'll only see people on the edges doing that.
In pockets. Yeah.
Pockets. And they will sit in their staff meetings, and their PLCs will look at them and say things like this. Can we get on the same page, Steve? Because get on the same page is code for quit getting out of the box.
Quit.
Right? Quit being aspirational. Quit engaging the people as humans, because that's not sustainable. Quit giving real-time feedback, because everybody knows writing's painful and it's going to take a month.
Right. And that causes like that kind of talent at a school, at a district, to leave.
Yeah.
Like when they feel like kind of
like they'll leave or they'll bunker. They'll leave or they'll just isolate for self-protection, or they'll leave.
Which is also not good.
Which takes us full circle to why I like social media, because then folks like that can plug in with people that are actually getting results but are not beholden to big manufacturers for their workbooks that they haven't filled out in May. Remember, do your workbook inventory in May. How many pages? Less than 50%, maybe 20%.
Right. Jon, we appreciate you. You have
I appreciate
a lot to offer,
guys.
a lot to share. Yeah. I feel we could keep talking. You know what I mean? Like,
we can do a series. We can do a series. We don't have to solve the whole thing in one day.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back. This is just phenomenal. For anyone listening, so I do know, Jon, that you have the Facebook group that you're very active on. Like someone's posting something and Jon is there, right?
Our motto is free lifetime tech support.
I think I read that.
A little trick. Not that many people avail themselves of it. But the reason that I'm very perfunctory about always saying it is because it makes people feel like I can take a chance. And so that's the magic of free lifetime tech support. You might think that if I go to a keynote and I give people my email address, I'll get 300 emails from 500 people. I'll get 2.
Yeah.
I'll get 2. But if I leave them with the feeling that I could try a thing, and if it all goes bad, Jon might co-pilot with me, then that's worth it to me.
Yeah. So good. So what are some other places that people can go to reach out to you, get support?
Like the whole internet, pretty much. I'll put my email in the chat here. jcorippo@gmail. Just doing that freaks people out. Right? They're like, what?
And on X, you're J Corippo, right?
Yeah, J Corippo. I'm pretty much done with Twitter, you guys. That guy ruined it, even though he's good at space. It's not what it was. I'm seeing the most activity on my side in Facebook right now. Threads is cool because it's not owned by that guy, but it's just a version of Twitter. And I try to limit myself to like 3 social medias. So if I'm going to add one, something else has got to go.
Yeah,
I still look at them to see what the vibe is, but for me right now, Facebook's the real deal for us. Interaction wise.
No, yeah. I've been having a lot of fun thanks for letting me in, Jon. But in that group, I'm like, oh man, there's so much support and collaboration.
Yeah. No, and then we do Eduprotocols Plus, which is a one-time life price. You pay once, and then we're just cranking out all kinds of new templates all the time. So,
which to be clear is an app, right?
Yeah, there's an app now. And if you're Eduprotocols curious, you can get in there and it's updating me. There's a new update. So we do like new templates. There's courses, all kinds of crazy stuff in there, but it's one price for your whole life, forever. And we just keep putting in new templates. So if you do the math of $10 a month on TPT that doesn't correct itself and doesn't make your life better, it'll pay off in about 1.5 years. And then we just keep making more and more stuff. And there's courses in there and self-paced things. And it's really fun.
Awesome. Love that. Jon Corippo, ladies and gentlemen, it sounds like we're going to have him back in the foreseeable future. This was fun. Hope, we will be doing this again. We do have and I don't have it open. Like we came in here all sideways, lopsided.
That's my bad. I need to clear my browser cache.
No, it's good. It's good. We have an episode this Tuesday. I'll be just keep out on all on the social platforms for that. So we have an episode Tuesday. It was a little unusual. It's giving me first season kind of vibes. And then we'll do a follow-up one on Saturday.
Steve scheduled that one, not me. So we'll see you on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's my bad. But all right, friends, thanks for being here. Those that are watching, listening live, or watching in the car, like on the Spotify's. But as always, friends, keep your hats on, but your minds open. Until next time, bye-bye.